73. Your manager has been hearing a lot about IPv6 addressing, and asks you which of the following statements are true about IPv6 unicast addresses. Select 2. A. A link local address starts with FE00. B. A global address starts with 2000. C. The loopback address is 1271. D. When an interface is assigned a global address, it is allowed only one IP6 address. E. The loopback address is 1. Answer. A global address starts with 2000 and the loopback address is 1. The loopback address in IPv6 is 1, whereas global addresses start with 2000. Be sure to know the IPv6 address types for the CCNA exams. 74. Which of the following is an example of an IPv6 link local address? A. FF00, F407, 622C, A0CE, 90CC. B. FE80, F407, 622C, A0CE, 90CC. C. FE08, F407, 622C, A0CE, 90CC. D. 2001, F407 to 622C, A0CE, 90CC. Answer. FE80, F407, 622C, A0CE, 90CC. Link local addresses in IPv6 are similar to API-PA addresses in IPv4 and start with FE80. Be sure to study the IPv6 address types for the CCNA exams. 75. Your manager has asked you what some of the benefits of transitioning from IPv4 to IPv6 are. Select 2. A. IPsec is optional. B. No broadcast messages. C. A 64-bit address scheme. D. Telnet passwords are encrypted. E. Automatic configuration. Answer. No broadcast messages and automatic configuration. There are some huge changes with IPv6, and two of those changes are the elimination of broadcast messages and the fact that IPv6 uses automatic configuration. 76. Your manager is evaluating IPv6 transitioning technologies and is wondering which IPv6 tunneling method encapsulates the IPv6 data into an IPv4 user datagram to travel over the Internet and can pass through NAT devices. A. 6-4. B. Dynamic IP. C. Teredo. D. Dual stack. Answer. Teredo. Teredo is an IPv6 tunneling protocol that can be used to encapsulate IPv6 packets into an IPv4 packet so that it can travel across an IPv4 Internet. Teredo is the only IPv6 tunneling protocol that can be used when the system is behind a NAT device. 77. You are evaluating how you are going to slowly transition to IPv6. What three techniques can be used to allow migrating from IPv4 to IPv6? Choose 3. A. Broadcast addressing. B. Translation between IPv6 and IPv4. C. Multicast to unicast translation. D. Use of dual stack routing. E. Use tunneling protocols. Answer. Translation between IPv6 and IPv4 and use of dual stack routing and use tunneling protocols. When transitioning to IPv6, you can use translation protocols to convert, or proxy, from IPv4 addressing to IPv6 addressing. You also have the capabilities of running IPv4 and IPv6 on the same devices, and can use tunneling protocols to tunnel the data across dissimilar protocol networks. 78. What IPv6 address type is similar to an IPv4 private IP address and starts with FC00? A. Global address. B. Loopback address. C. Link local address. D. Unique local address. Answer. Unique local address. A unique local address is similar to an IPv4 private address and starts with FC00. 79. SMTP uses which of the following ports? A. UDP 53. B. TCP 21. C. TCP 23. D. TCP 25. Answer. TCP 25. SMTP is the Internet Protocol for sending email and uses TCP port 25. 80. FTP uses which of the following ports? A. 25. B. 23. C. 21. D. 53. Answer. 21. FTP uses TCP ports 21 to transfer FTP commands and 20 to transfer data. Note that SMTP uses TCP port 25, Telnet uses TCP port 23, and DNS uses TCP 53 for zone transfers and UDP 53 for DNS queries. 81. Which of the following represents the port used by POP3? A. 21. B. 110. C. 143. D. 443. Answer. 110. POP3 uses TCP port 110. Note that FTP uses TCP 21 and 20, IMAP uses TCP 143, and HTTPS uses TCP 443. 82. Which of the following are true statements about TCP ports? Select all that apply. A. FTP uses TCP ports 21 and 20. B. FTP uses TCP ports 11 and 12. C. HTTP uses TCP port 53. D. HTTP uses TCP port 80. E. SMTP uses TCP port 53. F. SMTP uses TCP port 25. Answer. FTP uses TCP ports 21 and 20. And HTTP uses TCP port 80. And SMTP uses TCP port 25. You must know your ports for CCNA exams. FTP uses TCP ports 21 and 20, HTTP uses TCP port 80, and SMTP uses TCP port 25. 83. Which of the following are true statements about ports? Select all that apply. A. DHCP uses UDP 67/68. B. DHCP uses TCP 67/68. C. SNMP uses UDP 161. D. DNS uses UDP 25. E. SNMP uses TCP 161. F. DNS uses UDP 53. Answer. DHCP uses UDP 67/68. And SNMP uses UDP 161. And DNS uses UDP 53. DHCP uses UDP ports 67 and 68, SNMP uses UDP port 161, and DNS uses UDP port 53. 84. Sue is unable to surf the internet and calls you over to her desk to troubleshoot. You use ipconfig on the system and notice the following IP configuration. What is the problem? Local area network connection. IPv4 address 169.254.34.56 subnet mask 255.255.0.0 default gateway. A. The DNS server is down. B. The subnet mask is incorrect. C. The router is down. D. The DHCP server is down. Answer. The DHCP server is down. Sue's system has an IP address that starts with 169.254.x.y, which is known as an automatic private IP address, APIPA, address. A system is assigned an APIPA address when it cannot locate a DHCP server to obtain an address from. This is most likely a DHCP problem. 85. Bob is unable to surf the internet and calls you over to his desk to troubleshoot. You use ipconfig on the system and notice the following IP configuration. What should you do? Local area network connection. IPv4 address 192.19.210.79 subnet mask 255.255.255.0 default gateway 192.19.0.1a. Change his IP address to 169.254.210.79. B. Change his IP address to 192.19.0.79. C. Change his subnet mask to 255.0.0.0. D. Remove his default gateway setting. Answer. Change his IP address to 192.19.0.79. In this example, when you look at the IP address and subnet mask, you can see that the network ID is 192.19.210.x. The default gateway which references your router must have an IP address within the same network ID. 86. You are designing the IPv4 address scheme for the network. How do you calculate the broadcast address of a subnet? A. Set all host bits to 0. B. Set all host bits to 1. C. Set all network bits to 0. D. Set all subnet bits to 1. Answer. Set all host bits to 1. In order to calculate the broadcast address of a subnet, you set all host bits to 1 and then convert to decimal. 87. Your manager would like you to subnet the 129.65.0.0 network into 6 different networks. What is your new subnet mask? A. 255.224.0.0. B. 255.255.192.0. C. 255.255.224.0. D. 255.255.255.224. Answer. 255.255.224.0. To create 6 new subnets, you need to actually create 8 subnets by borrowing 3 bits from the host ID portion of the subnet mask and converting them to subnet bits.